Hey, Dale the Librarian here. How do we look up a population in psychology, but how do we find information on how a population sees itself, what they believe, perceptions, what they value, what holds a community together? It seems complicated, but it's not too bad. So you go to databases, and we can go to psychology, and then we have PsycInfo from the APA. And we can ignore this, go to advanced search. And so we already have been working on keywords related to a population. So I will do homelessness. Oh yeah, here's a whole bunch of different things. So here's an example. If it's more than one word, remember to put it in. Houseless, I've never heard of that key term. Oh, sleeping rough, unstably housed. I love the term. There's also like full timing. Sleeping rough is words that people use to describe themselves when they're homeless. So they're not homeless, they're sleeping rough. So it's a little more sympathetic. So if we did a search just for these things, it would look for people looking at homeless populations, but it might not necessarily be a methodology where they're interviewing people who identify as homeless or sleeping rough and telling people what they believe and how they feel. That's an important part of social sciences. We don't want to be like looking down and kind of like describing as an outsider. We want to know how people feel as a member of the community. So we can put in words like values or, oh yeah, beliefs, opinions, attitudes, or identity, or perceptions. All of these things are things that you cannot place upon somebody. You have to ask them, what are your perceptions on something? So somebody can't come up to me and say, your perceptions are you look like a decaf kind of a coffee guy. And I'm like, well, maybe that's true, but you should ask me. So when you click on search, there's an and, but most of them have ors in between them. So you see the and here. So it's going to look for concepts up here. Any one of those. After it finds those, then it's going to do an and then it's going to look for any one of those. And we have 3,000. Your assignment is to come up to the post-COVID era, or like middle of COVID. So let's do 2020. Bringing lived experience to research. That's just what I was talking about. What we're looking for is something in the abstract, or you can dig into the article and look for somebody who says something where they identify with a community. It can be any community. Research lived experience. I want to find a quote. Family neglect. Perspectives on service providers. Let's look at this one. Neglected person. Individual interviews were conducted. Okay, so your job is to find something where somebody identifies and then says something about themselves. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, send me an email. I'm happy to help.